So welcome to everyone. Dobar dan, dobrodošli. So it's my real pleasure to introduce you an interesting topic, foresight, and how foresight can be used as a tool to improve planning. Because as we all know, planning is important. And without good planning and proper tools, we might sometimes lose the momentum and lose the opportunity. But let me first tell you, where do I come from? I'm working for Go Foresight Institute that is providing future studies for corporate sector governments and associations. And then at the same time, I'm engaged in a few networks, and one of them I shared also with the president of Slovenian Tennis Association back in my students' time. But you will find out 3 times when we meet together during the presentation by coincidence. So, strategic foresight, and how can we use it, is a structured, systematic way of using ideas about the future. So we heard today about ideas. Many of you come from different countries. As a representative of different stakeholders, you have your vision, you have your idea, you have your expectations. So what IGM in Portorož 2024 will bring to us? So, why we use foresight? We use it in order to anticipate challenges and better prepare for change. But what kind of challenges? Let's ask ourselves, 2024, what kind of challenges do we live? What kind of uncertainty? Europe, just name it, in 2 wars. Political challenges, technological, social, environmental, you name it. And who's engaged? Different stakeholders. So I will show you an example on how different stakeholders shape the agenda of cities, on future of cities, which are very important for development of sport. So let's see who are the stakeholders. So I show you here an example of Ljubljana Forum on future of cities. Usually Ljubljana, those of you who will have time to visit it, please visit it. It's a really beautiful city. It's not just because our mayor said it is the most beautiful city in the world, but really, it's a great city. Because why? The team and the mayor, they had a vision, we can call it a little bit of foresight, and they execute the strategy. So now, who are the stakeholders from 2011? You can see here as an example, different palettes that they are engaged. First of all, they come from cities, government institutions, so-called public. Next stakeholders are companies, business. Then we have associations, NGOs, and academia research. Now try to reflect into the sport and IGM. And you will also speak about engagement next 2 days, not only today. So here, first part, when we met with the president of Slovenian Tennis Association, Mr. Andrej Slapar, European Law Student Association. At that time, we were a bit weak with the English, so we call it European instead of law, love. And we come from Slovenia, and you heard before. So it was quite funny, and that was the first connection when we were in a younger times engaged. Now, let's move further. Sport and foresight. Challenges. I will present to you 2 challenges because of lack of time. One is related to infrastructure building, and the second into the career of a sportswoman or man. But let's start first with the infrastructure. The architect Peter Lawrence said in 2013 at Ljubljana Forum, the problem of nowadays is not how to design something, but how to realize it. Now try to think. I read in the media this week, we will have a new tennis course. Mayors say, yes, go ahead. I cannot go into details. You probably know more also here. So idea is there, but when it will be realized, what does it mean for sport? And they are, in planning, important players. So, Mr. Lawrence, at that time, famous Vienna architect that finished now his project. And let's see now where we are after 12 years. Swimming pool in Ljubljana. Here we go. Illyria Sport Facility will be open in the month of May, which is 11 years after it was already planned, done, arranged. So now try to think about the career of a sportsman. Try to think, you as a president of association, sport association, how you shape your agenda, how you plan. So, how can we consider that? Is it success? At the end, will be beautiful, will be nice. Many of you will be at the opening. But is it success? Is it failure? Or better put it in an American way. Sarah will be today with us, afternoon. We learn, and we constantly learn from failures. And you as a sportsman, you know, as much time as you lose, next time you might win. So let's call it learning. Okay. Foresight and sport, Z generation. You will have a panel on engagement of sportswomen and men, and what are the values of Z generation. Look at this picture here. The guy is in a very complicated situation. He needs to resist into the situation, adopt, improve, and be innovative to go next step. Okay? So, what sports brings to this Z generation? Do we have all of them will be Novak or Mima? Will all of them succeed? Will some of them say, look, I have enough, I quit, I do another role. I will be a manager, I will be a coach, trainer, or I will be engaged in business. And this guy decided, with 21 years old, playing for national team under 19, that he quits football and he will start to do business. So, what sport brought him? Believe me, he was not behind the computer. You can see his legs to the right. Was quite performing a lot. So, and this is important. This is really what I would like to stress. And that's why different stakeholders, sometimes not visible, they have different impact on society, on youth, on business development, and this is also what counts. Okay, let's move next. Now it's time for some trends. So I was asked to present you with a future, and that's what we do in Foresight and at the Millennium project. And I would like to show you just a map of complexity. Complexity of global challenges. And when we speak about how sport will affect the world, what kind of challenges sport can affect and where. And here is a mapping from about 15 challenges from sustainable development, climate change, democratization, education and learning, energy, global ethics that are mapped together with sustainable development goals. And those of you who are from the business community, you are faced with additionally with ESG, environmental and social and governance performance of your companies. So in one word, a kind of complexity. So, how to plan? How to find a common denominator of those stakeholders engaged? Let's see an example. We did at the Millennium Project future study. It was actually sponsored by UNESCO on technology and work and how new technology trends will affect humanity and what kind of work will be in the future, what kind of threats, what kind of opportunities. And let's see some of them now. So, definitely, economic gaps are widening. In the world that we live, economic gaps are widening. Second, return on investment on capital and technology is higher than ROI on labor. And the third one, future technologies can replace labor. So these are the facts that came out, and we will see later on what are different scenarios where we head on, and what is good to pay the attention about it. So what can we do about this? Work text scenarios. First one, there are 3 scenarios. First one is mixed bag, so business as usual. We don't move, we don't plan, we don't do foresight. What happened will happen. We take care about our own agenda, that's it. Second, political turmoil, future despair. This study was done just before COVID and looking ahead, pandemic year. And in this future despair, how fast the future is coming, we can face already in 2024, many countries are facing the scenario of future despair. And the third one, flourishing, optimistic, yes, that's what we are committed, that's what we would like to see, but how can we go there and what can we do? It means that humans are free, and it means self-actualizing economy. And let's see a bit in details what it's about. So in mixed bag, human will be like not really care, everything will be arranged, countries are weak, governments are weak, no regulation following behind technological trends. Next, this is a really scary one, we should avoid, but already happening in some of the countries. Turmoil, the combination of organized crime, terrorism, corruption, and information warfare will make democracy and free market an illusion. And we can face in some countries, in some domains already that. But now, as we are in sport, and let's see what we can do. And the third scenario, and let's work for that, and I really pray that sport agents, representatives, will show and demonstrate this wherever possible, because of the values that we saw before, Z generation can embrace and move forward. So the third one, here we see an example of how personal artificial intelligent avatar will work instead of you, will do investment instead of you, will prepare you a morning brief while you have a breakfast according to your preferences. And that future can be interesting, but of course there are always ifs. I'm not a big fan of technology, and I always argue for humanized algorithm. It should be always option to plug out, which means to disconnect. And the next, new emerging technologies. AI is taking big steps this year. Blockchain, Internet of Things, sensors, you name it. So now, what should be the message for you? Or what should be the outcomes? Some of them you will attach in next sessions. First of all, how to connect business with sports, where the ROI will be, what kind of impact business could have, but also think about other stakeholders that are nearby, engaged, how they can interact. Then anticipate Z generation. They are really unbelievable. And I need to share with you a personal story. The guy before I show you is my son. And he came to me when he was 21 years old and said, "Dad, listen to me. I will quit as a professional football player, and this is my decision. It's not because either you like it or not." And I was looking like, wow. And I thought, there is no school to give him something such as courage, such as determination when it's time to stop and maybe do something else. So, innovate, be sustainable. You will have a great panel on sustainability and green and how it can interact and create well-being. So for what? For be European and change the world with the sport. And really, I wish you all success, good debates, and as you have annual general meeting, you will elect new president, association, and please be ambitious in Brussels. Try to bring to the higher level of regulation of sport in Europe, because you have the voice to share and you can have a great impact. I wish you great success. Don't forget to connect, to have a good time, and pass nearby. And if you see that Foresight, in some case, can help you, the more than 70 chapters of Millennium project knock on their door. It is a perfect tool. It can help you to navigate the future and engage stakeholders that are relevant for you. Thank you very much, and I wish you a great success and a good event.